I never thought a silly online challenge could change my life. It started as a joke. My friends dared me to be a girl for a day. I laughed, thinking it was harmless, just some makeup, clothes, and a funny video for TikTok. But the moment I agreed, everything changed. The first hint that this wouldn't be ordinary came when I woke up. My body felt different. My chest was fuller, my hips had curves I didn't have before, and my legs, felt longer, softer, more delicate. I blinked at the mirror, heart hammering. The reflection staring back wasn't just me wearing a wig or makeup. It was someone else. My hair had grown in soft waves down my shoulders, my face smoother, eyes bigger, lips fuller. I touched my cheeks, then my chest, then my hips, and every movement sent shivers through me. What the hell? I whispered to myself. My voice was lighter, melodic, almost hypnotic. I tried to laugh, but it came out soft, a little airy. Panic clawed at my chest. This wasn't just a challenge. This was transformation. The first day was a nightmare. Every step I took in the hallway, every glance I caught in a window reflection, reminded me that I wasn't myself anymore. At school, friends froze mid-conversation when they saw me. Whispers trailed me down the hallways, eyes lingering too long. "Whoa, is that really you?" one friend stammered. I tried to explain, my new voice soft and unfamiliar. "Yeah, just something weird happened," I muttered, fumbling with my bag strap. Every word felt foreign. Every movement felt exposed. I caught a glance of myself in the glass doors and nearly dropped my phone. The curves of my hips, the subtle sway in my walk, the soft lines of my face, it all screamed someone else, and yet, I couldn't deny a strange thrill of attention, even as my stomach twisted in fear. Even simple things became complicated. Sitting, walking, holding objects, all had to be adjusted for this new body. My chest bumped into my desk, my hips shifted naturally when I moved, and even the way I reached for things felt awkward. People stared, sometimes knowingly, sometimes out of confusion. I wanted to scream, to run, to hide, but I couldn't escape my own reflexio. Back at home, I locked myself in my room. Clothes I had never considered wearing suddenly felt tempting. Dresses, skirts, blouses, soft, silky fabrics calling to me. I tried them hesitantly, heels wobbly beneath my feet. Standing in front of the mirror, I studied every curve, every line, every feature. Makeup became both a puzzle and a fascination. Eyeliner, blush, lipstick, I experimented, watched my face change with each stroke. The voice I heard when I whispered to myself was no longer my own. It was softer, gentler, sweeter. I tried speaking in my old voice, but it stumbled, cracking like a fragile note. And yet, beneath the fear, a spark of curiosity glimmered. Each small experiment, each attempt at walking gracefully or speaking lightly, was a tiny rebellion. I could explore this body in private, discover its strengths, its allure, its power. The days blurred as I practiced. Every time I stepped outside, I felt eyes on me. Strangers whispered, glanced, smiled. At first, I panicked. I wanted to hide, to shrink, to escape this new skin. But gradually, I began adjusting. Shoulders back, head high, a soft sway in my hips, I started to inhabit this body with a strange, cautious confidence. Friends noticed subtle changes in my mannerisms. One of my closest friends asked quietly, You've changed. Are you okay?" I hesitated. Could I explain the challenge had literally rewritten me? That overnight, I had become a girl in body and presence, and now the world saw me as such. Instead, I smiled softly. "Yeah, I'm okay. Just trying something new," I said. And in the safety of that lie, I felt a flicker of power. I could learn to live in this body. I could explore it, master it, survive in it. The real test came when my parents insisted I attend a social event. My first public outing in this new form. Panic surged as I slid into a dress my mother had chosen. Heels clicked against the polished floor, my chest subtly lifted, hips swaying. Every step felt unnatural at first. My reflection in the hallway mirror caught my attention. Soft curls, glowing skin, delicate features, confident posture. I barely recognized the girl staring back at me. At the event, all eyes turned toward me instantly. Whispers followed. Compliments arrived, some hesitant, some awed. I froze at first, then forced myself to breathe, to smile, to walk and move as if I had always been this way. Every flash from cameras, every glance, every word felt like a test. And I passed. After that night, I began venturing out more. Cafes, streets, public spaces, I tested my presence. Each time, I felt fear, but it was paired with excitement. People noticed me differently. My body, my voice, my curves, everything drew attention I had never imagined. Initially terrifying, it slowly became intoxicating. I learned to move with grace, to command attention without fear, to inhabit this new identity fully. Even mistakes became part of the learning. A stumble in heels, a misstep in a dress, a flustered laugh, all were small challenges to master. Each time I recovered, I felt a surge of power and confidence. I began to realize something important. This wasn't just a physical change. It was a transformation of self, of presence, of courage. The turning point came unexpectedly. I was invited to a local fashion event, a small runway show. Backstage, models adjusted dresses and heels. I felt panic rising. This was public, real, unavoidable. But as I watched the other girls, I realized, I had been practicing, I had been preparing, and now I had no choice but to embrace this life fully. The moment I stepped onto the runway, the fear vanished. Heels clicking, hair flowing, curves accentuated by the dress, I moved as if I had always been there. Cameras flashed. Applause erupted. Every step, every turn, every glance felt electrifying. The realization hit me. I wasn't trapped in fear anymore. I was powerful. I was captivating. I was the girl everyone wanted to see, and I could choose to own that. After the show, a friend approached. I don't even know what to say, they whispered. You've changed. Completely. But, you're amazing. I looked at my reflection in a nearby mirror. The soft curls, the delicate curves, the poise I had claimed, they were mine to inhabit. And for the first time, I truly felt it, choice. I could deny this body, fear it, wish for my old self. Or I could embrace it, live fully in it, and walk forward as the person I had become. I chose the latter. In the following weeks, I walked taller, smiled brighter, and spoke with confidence. Every public glance, every compliment, every subtle acknowledgement reinforced a truth I had only begun to understand. This challenge hadn't trapped me, it had unveiled me. I wasn't just a girl by accident. I was someone discovering courage, grace, and empowerment in the body I had been given. I had feared the change, but now I relished it. Alone in my room one night, I whispered softly to my reflection. I agreed to a challenge, and I became her. The girl I never knew I could be. I can't go back, and I don't want to. I am me. I am strong. I am free. And I will own this life, forever. From that moment on, I walked the world as someone transformed, not just in body, but in presence, in confidence, in identity. I had faced fear, embarrassment, and doubt, and emerged empowered. The challenge that once seemed like a joke had become my reality, and in embracing it, I had discovered courage I never knew I had. I was trapped. Maybe. But I was unstoppable. I was the girl I had been dared to become, and now, I couldn't imagine being anyone else. The first day after the challenge was a blur of panic and disbelief. My reflection in the mirror refused to look familiar. My hair had grown into soft waves, my eyes seemed bigger, and my face had a smoothness I'd never had before. My chest felt impossibly full, my hips swayed subtly when I walked, and even my hands seemed smaller, delicate, precise. I touched my face, then my chest, then my waist, and every touch sent a shiver down my spine. My voice was different too. I tried to call out, "Mom," but it came out light, melodic, almost alien. My throat tightened. This can't be real. This has to be a joke, right? Even walking felt unnatural. I caught myself swaying, my hips moving in a rhythm I had never consciously chosen. I stumbled, trying to adjust my balance in these new heels I had absent-mindedly slipped on. They were strange but, somehow empowering. School was worse. Everyone noticed immediately. Whispers trailed behind me as I walked through hallways I had known all my life. Classmates stopped mid-conversation, their eyes wide, unsure if they should speak. "Is that you?" someone asked, barely above a whisper. Yeah, just, something weird happened, I muttered, fidgeting with my sleeve. My new voice betrayed my panic. Every movement, every glance, every word made me hyper-aware of the curves of my body, the softness of my skin, the delicate sway of my walk. I felt exposed, vulnerable, yet strangely aware that people were captivated by me in a way I had never experienced. Sitting in class was nearly impossible. My body no longer fit the routines I had learned. My chest brushed against the desk, my hips shifted with every turn. Every glance at the window's reflection reminded me, this wasn't temporary makeup or costume. This was real. I was someone else now. Back home, I locked myself in my room, desperate for privacy. I needed to understand this body, its strengths, its limits, its allure. I rifled through my closet, pulling out skirts, blouses, and dresses I had never imagined wearing. Slipping them on felt strange at first, almost foreign, but when I caught a glimpse in the mirror, I froze. The reflection was mesmerizing. My curves were highlighted perfectly, my hair flowed with a life of its own, my face glowed under the soft light. I touched my lips, traced my cheeks, ran a hand down my arms. Every inch of me screamed feminine, graceful, delicate. Makeup became an obsession. Eyeliner, blush, lipstick. I experimented endlessly, tracing my features, trying to manipulate this new self into something I could understand. Each brushstroke changed me, and I couldn't stop staring. Even my voice responded differently when I whispered to myself. I look different. I feel different, I said, testing syllables, laughter, sighs. Curiosity replaced some of the fear. Alone, I practiced walking in heels, moving my hips with precision, mimicking the poise I had seen in models online. I experimented with different postures, gestures, and expressions. Each small discovery, the tilt of my head, the sway of my hair, the movement of my fingers, brought a thrill I hadn't expected. I realized the transformation wasn't just physical. It was psychological. I felt emotions more intensely: excitement, curiosity, embarrassment, pride, all amplified by this new body. I had been trapped in fear and uncertainty, but now I glimpsed a strange potential for confidence, for control, for power I hadn't known existed. Venturing outside was terrifying. Every glance, every whisper, every subtle smile from strangers made me hyper-aware. My first attempt to buy coffee alone was an ordeal. I stumbled over my words, my voice soft and light, and my hands shook slightly as I handed over cash. But when the barista smiled and said, "You look amazing today," something inside me shifted. For the first time, the attention felt empowering. I started practicing my walk, my voice, my presence. The more I moved through public spaces, the more I began to inhabit this new identity. Each step in heels, each glance in a shop window, each compliment from strangers taught me something. I could survive, I could adapt, and I could even thrive. By the end of the week, I had built a small routine. I practiced makeup and outfits in private, tested my voice, perfected my walk, and experimented with gestures. Alone, I could explore, adjust, and master these small skills, but public exposure remained terrifying. Every interaction was a test, a reminder of how drastically my life had changed. One night, staring into the mirror, I whispered softly, I can do this. I can survive this. I don't know if I'll ever be the same, but maybe I can be more. That was the first spark of determination, the first moment I realized this wasn't just about a silly challenge anymore. It was about navigating a new identity, learning to live in a body that wasn't mine yesterday, but could be mine today, if I dared to embrace it. The real test came sooner than I expected. A weekend party at a friend's house became my first major public outing in this new body. I had spent hours in front of the mirror, practicing my posture, my walk, my smile. But nothing could prepare me for the moment I stepped outside. The night air brushed against my skin, sending shivers through my body. My dress clung perfectly to my curves, heels clicking softly against the pavement. Every glance from passers-by felt like a judgment, a spotlight on someone who wasn't entirely me, or at least, not the me I had known yesterday. At the party, whispers followed me almost instantly. People I had known all my life froze mid-conversation, unsure how to react. "Is that really you?" someone murmured. My chest tightened. My lips parted to answer, and my voice, soft and melodic, betrayed me. Yeah. Something different," I muttered, fidgeting with the hem of my dress. Panic surged, but something strange happened. I noticed the admiration in their eyes. Even if it was curiosity, even if it was shock, I felt noticed. And for the first time, I realized that being seen like this wasn't entirely terrifying. I started small, walking across the room with confidence I didn't yet feel. My hips swayed naturally, shoulders back, chin slightly raised. Conversations came, hesitant at first, but I learned to respond with poise, letting my soft voice carry without trembling. Compliments arrived, some awkward, some genuine, but each one was a lesson in inhabiting this new identity. A group of friends pulled me aside. Wow. You look amazing. Like, completely different, one said, eyes wide with awe. Thanks. I guess I'm figuring things out, I replied, smiling softly. Inside, my heart was racing. Every word, every glance, every movement felt like a test, and somehow I was passing. The night continued, and with every step, I felt more in control. I experimented subtly, tucking hair behind my ear, adjusting the strap of my dress, smiling in a way that drew attention without asking for it. Each small gesture taught me something about this body, this presence. I could sway, turn, move, and interact in ways I had never imagined. By the end of the night, I realized something profound. The fear that had paralyzed me for days was giving way to exhilaration. This wasn't just a challenge anymore. This was my life. And I had the power to claim it. The next days blurred into a series of public experiments. Cafes, streets, stores, I tested my presence constantly. Strangers' stares no longer made me panic. Instead, I walked with poise, letting my curves, my voice, my confidence speak before I did. Every compliment, every subtle acknowledgement, became fuel for my transformation. Even mistakes became opportunities to grow. A stumble in heels, a mispronounced word, an awkward laugh, each recovery reinforced my resilience. I began to realize that this body, this identity, wasn't a cage, it was a tool, a canvas on which I could craft confidence, grace, and poise. The ultimate turning point came when I was invited to a small local fashion event. Backstage, I felt nerves like electricity, my heels unstable, my hands clammy. Models moved effortlessly around me, adjusting their dresses, chatting with ease. And I realized, I had been practicing. I had been learning. I had been becoming. The moment I stepped onto the runway, all fear melted. Heels clicking, dress flowing, hair swaying, curves accentuated. I moved as if I had always been here. Cameras flashed, eyes followed, applause erupted. And for the first time, I truly felt it: power, presence, control. I wasn't just surviving this transformation, I was thriving in it. After the show, a friend approached, eyes wide. I don't even know what to say. You've changed, completely. And, you're amazing. I glanced at my reflection in a nearby mirror. Hair cascading perfectly, curves swaying naturally, posture flawless. I smiled softly. I've chosen this. I'm choosing to be her, me, fully, I whispered. And with that decision, a wave of liberation washed over me. From that night on, every step I took in public, every glance, every interaction reinforced a truth I had only begun to understand. Fear could be transformed into strength, embarrassment into confidence, and change into empowerment. Alone in my room later that night, I whispered to my reflection. I agreed to a challenge, and it changed everything. I can't go back, and I don't want to. I am the girl I was dared to be. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am unstoppable. And for the first time, I believed it.